Am I the asshole for telling my cousin the truth about her Native American heritage? This has caused some major drama in my dad's side of the family, and I'm seriously wondering if I am the asshole here. My 18 female grandfather was a full-blooded Sioux Native American. He had 2 sons, my dad and my uncle. My uncle had a daughter named Kay, 17. All of them except me are very dark-skinned. My mom is a white lady, which turned out to be the dominant gene for me, so I am quite light-skinned. My dad is half Native American, and I am a quarter. Kay, however, isn't at all because of family drama surrounding her dad that Kay was never told about. As we got older, my dad and uncle wanted us to become more integrated with what is left of our tribe, so we would visit Grandpa's extended family often. We would go together in one car, and every single time she would get pissed and throw a tantrum about me coming. Kay was horrible to me about it every time and would tell me how stupid I am and how I'm an ugly white bitch. My dad and uncle always just brushed it off, and I just had bite my tongue and take it. Things finally came to a head 2 weeks ago when she stopped us at the door and said she will not be going under any circumstances if I am also going. Kay said that I am an embarrassment to our family and to the tribe because of how light-skinned I am, and that my dad is a racist towards his own people for letting me be a part of this culture. This was the first time she had ever said anything like this where they could hear it, and I finally snapped. I was done letting this girl bully me, so I told her the truth about her heritage. I told her that she's actually wrong. I am more Native American than she is because her dad isn't Sioux at all. My grandmother had an affair with the neighbor, he was Mexican, and kept the baby. Grandpa loved him like a blood son anyways and brought him up the same way he did for my dad, but my uncle was aware the entire time he is an honorary Indian, his words not mine. Kay absolutely lost the plot and has completely disowned me and my dad's side of the family. I haven't heard from my uncle, and my dad said that wasn't my story to tell, but he understands why I did it. Grandpa's family don't care, they knew the whole time. Kay is apparently having a major identity crisis, and my uncle's wife cussed me out on the phone, and she's also disowned me and my dad. Edit. It was made clear by a couple of commenters that Kay's remarks don't add up. I meant to say that Kay's remarks about me being an ugly white bitch would never surface when we were all in the car. Those happened in private, which is why her outburst 2 weeks ago was the first our dads had ever heard. Sorry for being unclear. Edit 2. I want to say thank you all for the attention this post got. You've all helped me see this situation from different angles and given me insight I didn't have before. Also thank you to the 6 kind strangers who gave this post awards. I might get downvoted but not the asshole. You put up with years of mistreatment from her part and finally snapped. The way that I see it, you telling her the truth is her own fault. Your dad and uncle are the asshole for not stopping her from being awful in the car. What is up with that? I would never let somebody talk to my kid like that. Not the asshole, she had it coming. If she's going to be a stuck-up nightmare like that, then that's what she gets. Maybe during her identity crisis she can somehow figure out how to not be a terrible person. Yeah, it wasn't your story to tell, but your family really should have dealt with her years ago. They really are the asshole here. Not the asshole. Kay was the one who spent years trying to exclude you based on genetic characteristics. Her parents really should have reined her in long ago. She's having an identity crisis of her own making. Hell no. Not the asshole. I love outing family assholes. ESP in front of others to witness the shaming and embarrassment. I've been shaming my middle brother for 20 years every chance I get. And I will for the next 20 until he ceases to be the waste of air that he is. You did the right thing. She's old enough to talk shit, she's old enough to get the hard truth. Good for you, young lady. Not the asshole. Maybe I'm biased as a hella pale mixed native person myself, but the way Kay treated you and tried to make you feel as though you weren't a part of your own people and culture. If you were in a hole, it was a justified one. Not the asshole. That's just karmic justice for being a racist moron. Hopefully she comes out of this identity crisis as not a racist moron. I am 100% native, but that is something we never say. It's not about the percentage or the color of your skin. My mom is full native, but she can pass for Métis, half native, half French, but she's never been insulted. You are native based on your ancestors and how you embrace your culture and try your best to follow the ways and learn your history. Being native is nothing about the color of your skin or the percentage of native blood you have in you. NTA though. Not the asshole. It was not your story to tell, but your uncle loses that privilege when he did not stop his daughter's bullying over characteristics that were relevant to that story. If Kay wasn't awful, she wouldn't be having an identity crisis. So they are all saying you're racist for coming along. Oh, the irony. They continued to badger you about wanting to meet your family, which was closer family to you than him for, I assume, months. Then you snapped, told them the truth, and now they disown you because they're spineless assholes who, if they find out they're wrong, cease communication like a rat. Sorry if I ranted, but you should tell your story to your heritage tribe next time you visit. Not the asshole. You were bullied for years, and no grown-up did anything about it. You only told her the truth, that should have been told a long time ago. But you sucked the least, op. The adults in this situation should have shut down her bullshit ages ago. Sure, it wasn't your story to tell, but Kay is the one who's been trying for ages to exclude you due to your parentage. Her father should have never let her act like that, certainly not for years like this. Kay got what was coming to her. ETA, with the updates that the adult never knew about Kay's behavior, I'm going with Kay is the biggest asshole, and Op could have handled things better. Op could have mentioned to her uncle before that Kay was giving her shit like this. It would have given him the opportunity to tell his own story. From the adult's perspective, Op dropped this out of nowhere. Not the asshole. Kay kept poking the bear. She sure as shit didn't like it when she got the claws laughing my ass off. Good for you, Op. I'm glad you did it. She deserved to know, especially under those circumstances. Tears of joy. Op. Not the asshole. I do have one question. Why did you never talk to your father about what all she was doing to you in all of those years? The way she treated you was horrible, that much we all agree on, but why let her continue and not let your father know in private, or your uncle for that matter, so that way it could have been stopped? I don't think it's your story to tell, but your dad and uncle should never have let you be bullied like this for so long. And Kay is the asshole for being shitty for no reason. I consider her and the adults to be way bigger asshole than you, because this should have been stopped a long time ago. I mean, she's still part Native American, just from a lot further south. But seriously, not the asshole for speaking the truth after being told that you can't be native because of your skin color. That's erasure of your culture and using blood quantum, which makes it bigotry and racism. Not the asshole. To be honest, her dad should have told her a long time ago. NTA. I have a friend who is both native and Mexican. For a long time she had pale skin due to some European ancestry. She started getting more tan as she aged and spent some time in hotter and sunnier places. But she is still light-skinned. Also, I'm a quarter black, but I'm white-skinned with green eyes. I won't say I've had the same experiences as black people or the discrimination or racism. However, it is still a part of me, and I was raised with it culturally like you were. She wanted to gatekeep your heritage and was being an awful human. Skin color means nothing. You are still linked by blood and culture. So your bully removed herself from your life. I'm not seeing the problem here. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. About time her pretendian ass ego got brought down to earth. Not the asshole. This was a story that should have been told to Kay many years ago. It was eventually going to come out. Your uncle did nothing about his daughter's behavior, so I guess this is a family issue that will take a few years to sort out. Not the asshole. But FYI, Mexicans are Native Americans too. They are indigenous to the Americas, North specifically, as they are Mayan and Aztec etc. in ancestry. Not the asshole. My niece is half Navajo. My family is white and her mother's side is Navajo. We love her dearly and encourage her being active in her tribe and embracing her heritage. That being said, I would be furious if anyone made her feel less than. For background, my best friend is half Korean and half white. She was never white enough for her white family and never Asian enough for her Korean family. That messed with her a lot. That being said, we consider her our adopted sister and we love and celebrate all sides of her. Not the asshole. Colonialism fucks up everybody into taking biological racism seriously and gatekeep siblings out of tribe membership based on settler biology. This just sounds embellished, heavily embellished. Huge. Not the asshole. I have a sister with a different dad than I do. She's half native and I'm not. The amount of hate she gets for being light-skinned is pretty close to how much hate she gets for not being white. Racist white people crap on her and natives do too. It's sadly a reality in this world. You were simply defending yourself when the rest of your family wouldn't. Not the asshole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Not the asshole. Your cousin is a racist asshole and your uncle and dad are idiots for allowing this to go on for as long as it has. She had to learn the truth about her heritage eventually. Not the asshole. You are not the asshole. Your father and your uncle are the main assholes, together with this cousin. Why? Because they knew you were being bullied and they did nothing. They kept their mouth shut and expected you to take it your whole life. You simply told the truth everyone knew. Now you will have a good life, without your cousin getting to decide who is and who isn't Native American because of their colors. Not the asshole. Also, I think there was another post a few weeks ago about someone whose extended family was really connected to their Native American roots, and maybe bullied OP, and then OP did a DNA test and showed them they were not Native American at all. Just a similar story. Not the asshole, but the adults in the family are for sure. If they didn't tell Kay about her heritage, they sure as shit shouldn't have told you. Either it's a secret or it's not, but keeping the one person who the information is most relevant to in the dark their whole life is a dick move. It wasn't your story to tell. Because you shouldn't have known about it in the first place. Gonna go with not the asshole. For one, Kay is absolutely not business policing who is and isn't connected with the community. She's not some leader figure, she's not a chief or elder or what have you. She's some bratty teenager a year younger than yourself. She's also hideously off base to even suggest your father is somehow an asshole for including his biological daughter in the community when you're as much a part of the community as he is. The only racist person in the room was her to suggest your skin color made you not part of your heritage. Perhaps she needed to hear that the foundation she'd formed such a toxic personality on was essentially fictitious. You can't always tell. My new son-in-law is part First Nation, was born on the Crow Reservation. His father wanted a paternity test, which we totally get since my Sil and his identical twin are pale redheads. One never knows. Never assume. Kay, you're not Native American enough. I mean, more than you. Kay. Surprise Piker faces everything around her lights on fire. Not the asshole. What you did was indeed nasty, but she came looking for it. Also, it's not as if you had revealed that her dad was not her dad, you just told her that her grandfather was not her grandfather. Plus now she gets to explore Mexican culture. I think this subreddit has some problems going from theoretical to reality. If OP was a saint, then yes, she would not have aired this dirty laundry. On the other hand, this is the real world, and OP has apparently been dealing with this abuse for years. I would have blown my shit way earlier. Not the asshole. OP, it's a terrible thing to be disconnected from your culture. Not the asshole. The parents share some of the asshole title. Not the asshole. I cackled when she got her just rewards. Sweet, sweet poetic justice. Not the asshole. So to summarize. Kay. You not one of people because of your skin color. OP. Actually, you're not one of the people because you aren't actually related to us and our culture. OP. Ultimate Uno reverse. And this is why you don't get wrapped up in self-identity. NTA, she is, and your uncle should have told her. He also should have put a stop to her running her mouth off to you. Block the cousin and aunt. This is a repost. I hope this is real. Not the asshole if it is. SN, genetics are a crapshoot. Even in a family where everyone for generations except for one great-grandmother is from the same country, we have a variety of skin tones. Not the asshole. Kay from the beginning was racist, not you. Everything she said and did backfired on herself. She even had the nerve to disown you and your family. Lol. Is she alright? Not the asshole you put up with for years. Side note, you knowing what your uncle calls it tells you everything you need to know. I hope she learns how toxic and racist she was. Seems like the family knows and doesn't care. Maybe this will make the family closer and her more accepting of others, one can hope. Side note, your grandfather is an awesome gentleman. Not the asshole. If the adults here has been adults and stopped the bullying in the first place, you would never have been driven to taking matters into your own hands. Kay's father especially, knowing the truth about his daughter's heritage, was incredibly at fault for not telling her when it seems everyone else knew. If heritage is so important, then he should have taught her about hers, or at the very least, taught her to be accepting of others. Your own father should have told his brother to remember who he was and teach his daughter. This girl, horrible and intolerant as she is, was set up for a terrible fall by her own parents and every other adult involved. Just bad parenting all round. Not the asshole. Not the asshole because she is awful and you told her the truth. However, she may not be Sioux by heritage, but she is still Native American by heritage. Where do you think Mexican, Hispanic, Latino features come from? They are a mix of native blood with European blood, just like you. Her native heritage may be lost in terms of not being able to trace it to a tribe or perhaps even particular area, but she has native blood as well. Your uncle can get over his embarrassment about being an honorary Indian as well. Maybe he is an honorary Sioux, but he has plenty of claim to native blood. Not the asshole, but you might want to remind cousin that many Mexicans have Native American blood. The blood might be from natives south of the border though. She can learn about those tribes. Also it just means she can now start learning Spanish. Not the asshole. Kay is apparently having a major identity crisis. Oh that poor thing. Not. Kay was horrible to me about it every time and would tell me how stupid I am and how I'm an ugly white bitch. My dad and uncle always just brushed it off and I just had bite my tongue and take it. I meant to say that Kay's remarks about me being an ugly white bitch would never surface when we were all in the car. Those happened in private, which is why her outburst 2 weeks ago was the first our dads had ever heard. So what are you saying they would brush off, if not the remarks about you being an ugly white bitch? I don't see any way to interpret that paragraph besides that she called you those names in front of them and they just brushed it off.